Okay, hello everyone. Hello everyone. If you could please take your seats, we are ready to get underway. Excellent. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. It is great to see you all here. Welcome. My name is Rob Annan, and I am President and CEO of Genome Canada. Thank you all for making the time to be here today and joining us here at our first ever Canadian Genomics Summit. Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue. Moi, je suis Rob Annan et je suis très heureux de vous recevoir ici aujourd'hui. I'm going to begin just briefly with a bit of housekeeping. First, I just want to note that we do have headsets for simultaneous interpretation available at the check-in counter. So if you wish to use them, please go and make yourself grab one of them from the staff there. And if you're looking for Wi-Fi, I guess on your badge here, there's the name of the network and the password and all of that kind of thing. There's also a QR code on your badge where you can see the event app for the summit. You'll find descriptions of all of the sessions, speaker bios, and all of that sort of thing. So that's great. Before we dive in, I want to first acknowledge and thank the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, whose unceded and unsurrendered territory we are gathered on today. Their presence and guardianship of this land reach back to time immemorial. With that, it is my privilege and honor to welcome Elder Claudette Commanda to formally open today's summit. Welcome, Claudette.
Good morning. Come on, we've got to be enthused. You're together here. Isn't it a beautiful day? And you're coming here to celebrate 25 years of well, you're celebrating, okay? So let's be enthused and say good morning. I just told Rob, I said, oh my God, each and every year it gets harder to walk up those stairs. Because I don't look like that anymore, I'll tell you that. But here I am. But good morning. Kwe Sheba. Kwe Sheba Nichkiwe Dug. Minogi Shagun. This is how we say good morning in my people's language. Kwe Sheba. Good morning. Bon matin. Let's say Kwe Sheba to one another because it is a beautiful day today. Kwe Sheba. And that is a blessing that you are given one another and yourself too as well. Thank you, Rob, to you and your organization for the respect of the Algonquin people and inviting me to say opening words and the passing of that sacred medicine of tobacco. Thank you, my friend. And of course, to your colleagues that have been taking such good care of me, Nicole, Diana, and now I met a new friend, Annie, and we've shared our law school days, our experience, and of course, my wonderful dear friend, Greg, who we tend to run into one another at least once a year. And thank you for bringing the snow from Toronto. But it's all good, it's all good. Many of you, I see familiar faces because I've met you in the past conferences. So again, I thank you for inviting me to be here with you. Kanimich kishigun kinun indishanakas kitagan zibi donjaban. Niwich kiwedug, migwej kibi jaye goma nongum. Bijaji goma anishnabe ki. My dear friend, Yasir, good morning. Mes amis, bienvenue ici à la territoire non cédé de nous ancêtres à la nation algonquin. I'm always honored and I'm always proud to welcome beautiful people, brothers and sisters, relatives, into this beautiful homeland of the Algonquin people, the ancestors and the people that I come from. As I acknowledge my ancestors, I acknowledge the ancestors of indigenous peoples from coast to coast to coast. And I acknowledge each and every one of you, your ancestors. But for the ancestors, we would not be here. We must always remember who we are, where we come from, and where we will go, because our ancestors follow us always. It's a celebration time, 25 years of Genome in Canada. You are a community, a community. I was asked to give words of a welcome blessing, and the words that I give you are from my heart and spirit, always with kindness and always in a good way. On the foundation of who I am as an Anishinaabe Algonquin woman, mother, and a grandmother. I could feel this beautiful energy in the room, the excitement. And when Rob and I spoke about the theme of your conference, this was a few months ago, and it was really so energetic. And we reflected on the themes, and I was very excited to join you. And I forgot about what I said to him at that time. But Nicole and I this morning, we sat down and she explained the themes, and my memory came back, and I had to write. Normally, I do not write anything, but you have to forgive me because sometimes I could feel the pangs of aging every now and then. But I'm still young in spirit, although my body tells me differently. But anyhow, you are a community. You are. You're celebrating. You're gathering here to celebrate. You're celebrating 25 years, and you learned from the past. You have a vision, and you will move forward into the future in that holistic approach, and that's so beautiful. Your themes of business and industry, health, agriculture, and environment. And I could see how this all fits in to our world as Anishinaabe people in our understanding of what we call a medicine wheel. Because that medicine wheel has 4 aspects, and every human being, we have 4 aspects of our being. Our emotions, our intellect, our spirit, and our physical. Your themes, business and industry, intellect, health, the physical, agriculture, the land. And that speaks about emotion because we love the land and the land loves us. And the environment, nature, the spirit. The work that you do, that is holistic. It is a medicine wheel. And it shows that you are all connected and we are all connected. You are a community. You are a community of knowledge keepers, of leaders of excellence. Continue doing that good work. And I understand that you will have a session where there are 7 CEOs here. Did you know that 7 is a very powerful number in our way of knowing, being, and doing? 7. 7 is a lucky number as well. Although every time I go to the casino, I never get 7 lucky 7s. Okay, to go back to being, hey, humor is good medicine, laughter is good medicine, right? But 7 CEOs, I said, that's just like the 7 grandfathers. How many of you have heard of our teaching of the 7 grandfathers? Oh, geez, only 7 people? No, I'm just kidding. Kinamage win. Those 7 grandfathers. Nimisho miss Kinamage win. 7 CEOs. 7 CEOs. 7 grandfathers. Teachings, the values. Wisdom. Respect. Bravery. Honesty. Humility. Truth and love. And love. And truth and respect. And in today's day and age and what we are experiencing, we truly need to come together as a community. Use that wisdom. Learn from one another. Respect one another and show that kindness. And this is the blessing that I'm bringing to you, to continue doing that good work. As I say, chimigwej kishiminado kichimigwej kanakego, kichimigwej onje ikwewag shishinininiwag. Nibuksendam kishiminado nibuksendam mashkawizin, nibuksen nibaka win a shish minapomadzuin, kichimigwej onje. Jojo eki. Fokomistipikizis mishomis kizis. Kichimigwe jonje kiniwin nimiyawin. And I sat this morning with my new friend Annie, and we spoke about life. We spoke about the most powerful of female power. The most powerful woman is our mother, the earth. She loves us, and we must love her. And she's upheld and guided by another powerful female power, our grandmother, the moon. We must always acknowledge. And our gentle, kind grandfather, sun. Very aged, but very gentle. We do not see him this morning, but he's still here. So all these aspects, or all these natural elements that we've been blessed with by the Creator, we must appreciate and give thanks. But more so to give thanks to one another as being brothers and sisters and working together as colleagues in this community. So I say to you, Nichkiwe Dug, as I thank the Creator for bringing us together, to bless each and every one of you and your families, to continue blessing you with wisdom, good words, knowledge to be shared, learning, and a learning that you will be gifted with, and in turn you will share, and you will use that in that good way to build strong communities. Come together in that medicine wheel, continue thinking about business, industry. Health is so important, and the land, agriculture, and the environment. That environment of spirit, through kindness and through love, and let us come together in unity of a community and be proud and be strong, because indeed at this time our children are depending on it, and especially what's going on today. And I won't mention where, but perhaps I may look worse south in this direction here. To show that how when people come together with kindness, with love, with strength, with respect for all people, and we are all connected in that great medicine wheel called life, and we are a community, and we in this country we will be that excellence to show that indeed we care for one another, we help one another through our expertise, through our knowledge, through our strength. And trust me, my friends, others will come because our children are depending on it. So let us show the world who we are in Canada. Thank you, my friends. Creator will continue to bless you and your families with that good health in mind, in heart, in spirit, and in physical. Creator will bless you with strength. Creator will bless you with love, and Creator will bless you with that good life as our ancestors continue to guide us. Thank you for hearing my words. Thank you for allowing me here to be here with you and sharing who I am. And no word for goodbye in our language, but what we do say is another blessing. We say, until we have another opportunity to come together in this great circle. God bless. Take good care of yourselves. And enjoy your conference. Keep up the good work. And also, as you care for others, take good care of yourself too, because self-care is so important. And if a self-care means having another good cup of strong Starbucks coffee, then go for it. All right, thank you. Take good care. I love you all. Me wedge.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much, Elder Commanda, for your great insights and thoughtful perspectives. The message around community and celebration and vision really resonates. And both last night at the reception and already here today, I think that sense of community is what really, I think, distinguishes everyone in this room and those we work with and so on, and makes sort of the work that we do together very special. So thank you, Elder Commanda, for getting started in a very good way, and we're very appreciative of your time. So I'm very, very excited about what is in store for us here today. This summit kicks off the 25th anniversary of Genome Canada and the Canadian Genomics Enterprise. As I mentioned last night, you know, this whole initiative started 25 years ago, and you know, casting our minds back, you know, we were in the shadow of the Human Genome Project, early days of a science, and a group of kind of grassroots visionaries really felt that, you know, Canada was well positioned to take advantage of this scientific opportunity, and they convinced policymakers at the time to make the investment to create an organization that would be dedicated to supporting science and research, but also the translation of that work into impacts that would really benefit the people of Canada and contribute to global well-being, whether that's in health, whether that's in food and agriculture, whether that's in the environment, natural resources. And Genome Canada, the Genome Canada enterprise, really was a visionary enterprise. It was unique. This idea of bringing together not just investments in health, but also in all of these other areas and leveraging kind of shared technologies, shared understandings, shared talent between those spaces, and making sure that we could apply this to impact all the different aspects of our society. Was very distinct and unique and remains so. When I travel internationally and I talk to my colleagues in other countries, that ability to think not just about the applications in health, but in these other areas really is something special. And so I'm excited to celebrate that here today. It's not just Genome Canada's 25th anniversary. As all of you here know, we work very closely with 6 regional genome centers who themselves are celebrating 25th anniversaries today. Together, you know, we are very proud to work with a community of scientists, researchers in universities, in companies, in colleges, and governments to help, you know, build a strong foundation for Canadian genomics, to really sort of foster an ecosystem for training and skills, and to fund really groundbreaking projects that are going to have those impacts I mentioned about. 25 years, you know, is in some ways a long time, but it feels like a bit of a blip of the eye. But in those 25 years, we've been able to see how genomics can deliver on that promise, transforming not just our understanding of life, but also revolutionizing biotechnology in ways that are now impacting all of us. The highlights, of course, are far too many to sort of list, but you know, right from the early days, like in 2003, when Canadian scientists were the first in the world to sequence the SARS genome, through to applications that we've now had in agriculture, wheat and cattle, and fisheries, benefiting food producers and communities across the country, working to protect our forests, our waterways, species at risk, and improving productivity and the environmental impact in our oil, gas, and coal extraction. And then more recently, as we saw with the COVID pandemic just a few years ago, the ability of the community to come together and build the Canadian COVID-19 Genomics Network, collaborating in a rapid response to help track the virus and better understand the ways in which it was affecting Canadians and their well-being. But that rapid response was the result of nearly 25 years of sustained investment that allowed us to pivot quickly and responsively in order to contribute to the effort. So this community is a super impressive community built to take on big challenges, and it's delivered for people here in Canada, but also internationally. So I just want to pause for a second here and share a snapshot of this impact. It's a very short video produced in collaboration between Genome Canada and the 6 genome centers that really does sort of flag the impacts that genomics can have for Canadians. So I'll ask for the video to play.
Have you ever wondered how life works? Turns out it has a secret code called DNA. Genomics is the science that helps us understand this code, letting us grow better crops, create life-saving medical treatments, and find ways to protect our planet. So what would life in Canada look like without genomics? Well, without maps of the cow and Atlantic salmon genomes, farmers couldn't breed herds that cause less environmental impact and fish that adapt to warmer waters, ensuring a stable food supply and jobs right here in Canada. We wouldn't have developed vaccines, personalized medicine, and better cancer care that lighten the burden on the healthcare system. We wouldn't have discovered microbes that can clean up oil spills and mining sites faster, helping restore Canada's fragile ecosystems. Thankfully, we don't have to imagine that world. Because of Genome Canada and genomics centers in your region, these breakthroughs and many more are a reality across Canada. By working with local researchers, business, and governments, we're finding real solutions to improve food, health, and the environment, making life better for all Canadians and the rest of the world. And it's more than science, it's economic growth, billions of dollars in investment, hundreds of patents, and tens of thousands of jobs have been created right here at home. But at its heart, this is about people. The farmer feeding families, the patient getting a second chance, the communities protected for generations to come. Because of genomics, we have smarter solutions, better data, faster progress, more hope. Our future isn't just brighter, it's exciting, inspiring, and already a part of your daily life. Visit genomecanada.ca/enterprise to learn more about the genomics breakthroughs happening in your region and across the country.
Awesome. Okay, I know that's a little preaching to the choir here, but nonetheless, isn't that awesome? Okay, as I will just say though, as much as we've achieved, and there's a lot to be proud of from the last 25 years, we really are just getting started. Today, we're gonna have some conversations here that will allow us to envision an even bolder future. These are complicated times that we're in, and we face numerous challenges here in Canada and globally. And it is really an exciting time for genomics. Convergence of a variety of factors mean that genomics has the potential to not just address these problems, but to really turn them into huge opportunities for Canada and for our colleagues around the world. You know, the technology, the ways the technology has changed, and the fact that it's still moving at a breakneck speed is really phenomenal. The advances we have now in data management, bioinformatics, massive potential and investments here in Canada around AI, quantum computing, are really going to allow us to harness the power of all of this genomic data that we're going to be generating. And then we, of course, have breakthroughs in CRISPR and other tools of engineering biology that allow us to now use that information in ways that we never thought possible. So all of these changes really are coming online now together in a way that really does have the potential to fuel a bio-revolution that will reshape our economy and society. And we are committed to doing that in positive ways. So we are excited here to talk today about how Canada can be a leader in this bio-revolution, how we can leverage our abundant natural resources, our immense talent, and the solid foundation we have in research and enterprise in this country. The sky really, really is the limit. So I am very excited for a special announcement here. I will be joined momentarily by Yasser Naqvi, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health, who will join us for the announcement in a short conversation about science, technology, and the role it plays in Canada. We'll then dive into a day of conversation and celebration, illuminating the impact and opportunities that we see in genomics today and over the next 25 years. It really is going to be a phenomenal day. I look forward to connecting with all of you at some point through the day. And I really am committed to the fact that while we do face very big challenges, the opportunities, I believe, are truly immense. I also know from experience that this community is ready to address those challenges, and I can pledge to you that Genome Canada is ready to support you. So with that, I am very honored to be joined and to invite now not only the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health, but also my MP for Ottawa Centre, Yasser Naqvi, to please join me up on stage.
Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you very much, Rob, for that kind introduction and your hard work. Anybody ask you what your MP was doing this morning, you know where I was and what I was doing. Let me first start by thanking Elder Kamanda for joining us today. It's always such a great joy to see you in the community, and you are a very busy person, always in the community. Those of you who don't know, Claudette Kamanda is also the Chancellor of University of Ottawa, my alma mater, so we're very proud of her for that and inspiring so many. But thank you for your wisdom, thank you for your kindness, and thank you for your humor that you always bring in welcoming us on the traditional land of Algonquin and Anishinaabe people and reminding us our responsibility as Canadians to be better stewards of this land, to learn from Indigenous knowledge, culture, history, and use that in our way of living as well, so that we can nurture this land as Indigenous people did for thousands and thousands of years. So thank you very much. I'm also very excited to be joined by a very good friend and colleague of mine, Pam Damoff, who's the Member of Parliament for Oakville North Burlington, and the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Pam is a very experienced parliamentarian who's devoted a lot of her time and energy in her role as the Member of Parliament in promoting research for cancer, funding for cancer research. She travels the country and has been a remarkable champion in Parliament of Canada for finding cure for cancer. So Pam, thank you for being here. It's an honor for all of us that you're part of this conversation. C'est un grand privilège de me joindre à vous. Nous soulignons une étape importante pour l'innovation et les sciences au Canada. We are here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of genomics in Canada, a field that is reshaping industries, addressing global challenges, and improving quality of life. In short, genomic science is transforming our understanding of life itself. Le leadership du Canada dans la recherche en génomique rayonne à l'échelle mondiale et donne lieu à des découvertes importantes. Our scientists helped discover the genes behind cystic fibrosis and early onset Alzheimer's. The International Barcode of Life project, headquartered at the University of Guelph, is the largest biodiversity genomics project ever undertaken. Indeed, Canadians have consistently been at the forefront of genomic innovation. La science est en constante évolution, tout comme le Canada. To that end, along with my colleague Pam Damoff, I'm pleased to launch the Canadian Genomics Strategy. With a federal investment of more than $175 million over 7 years, should I say that again? Over $175 million over 7 years. The strategy will advance cutting-edge research, accelerate the commercialization of technologies, and strengthen Canada's leadership in genomics. The strategy has 3 goals. 1, to advance genomics commercialization and adoption. 2, to improve access to data through national coordination. And lastly, to develop top-tier bioeconomy talent. Ces efforts nous aideront à résoudre des défis fondamentaux comme les changements climatiques, les urgences sanitaires et la sécurité alimentaire. La stratégie pan-canadienne en matière de génomique réunira notre leadership dans ce domaine transformateur. Since 2000, The government, through Genome Canada, has invested some $1.6 billion in genomics research. In turn, these investments have leveraged $2.4 billion in co-funding from provincial governments and other sources. This has created a strong $4 billion foundation for the new strategy to build upon. So let me sum up. Together with our partners, with all of you in industry and research, we are building something extraordinary. A future where Canadian innovation leads the world and where science meets real-world challenges. Merci à toutes les personnes qui ont contribué à rendre possible l'annonce aujourd'hui. Thank you for everything you do. I wish you grand success in your summit as you not only take stock of the last 25 years of remarkable work that's been done, but chart the path for the next perhaps 50 years of the work that will happen due to the leadership right here in Canada. And I'm very much looking forward to that groundbreaking innovations and discoveries that's in store for us all. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Okay, that is great news. Loving this. The Parliamentary Secretary has generously agreed to spend a little bit more time so he and I can talk about local riding issues. So if you don't mind, no, we are gonna we're gonna talk a little bit about the strategy. So we're gonna have a little fireside here for a few minutes. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for the support of the government for genomics research historically, and of course with this new investment. It really is transformative. It really is important. And for me, of course, the funding is always important. It's even more important for many of the people in this room. But what I think is worth underlining is the government's recognition of genomics as an important strategic priority. The federal government now has scientific strategies in AI, quantum, and genomics. And what I think is striking about those is they are all, in a sense, general purpose platform technologies that can have impacts across different sectors, both economically and otherwise. So I wonder if you could maybe just start by providing a little bit of insight into the ways that the government thinks about science and technology, these strategies maybe in particular, and AI and quantum of course are also very important sciences, but what it is the government is trying to achieve with investments in strategies like this.
Great. Well, thank you, Rob. And Rob and I were talking about this panel discussion, and I said to him right away, I said, I have a BSc in life sciences, but that's where it ended some 30 years ago. So let's not get into the details around genomics because that's not where my expertise lies. But we can talk about public policy making, give you a bit of an insight into how we think when Pam and I are sort of sitting around boardroom tables where we're having a discussion around where does Canada needs to go, perhaps we can give you some insight. Look, we on a regular basis talk about the economy and how to build an economy, how the world is moving forward and growing, and what is the role of Canada in that. Canada, as I see it, is a very much a knowledge-based economy. We're a small country, relatively speaking, in terms of number of people, but where I think we really play an important role is the talent that we bring from all around the world, is the knowledge that we can create. So when we think about building an economy, for us, of course, things that we have relied on in the past, manufacturing, critical minerals, all those are important elements. But the foundational pieces are now genomics, quantum science, AI. And it is incumbent on the government to develop, along with partners and stakeholders, strategies on those and put dollars behind so that becomes the foundational pieces of the economy. So the work that you're doing and we have been doing with you, the investment that we announced today around commercialization, around research, around talent generation in genomics, is very much, from our perspective, is the basis, the foundation of the economy that we want to build. And if we don't invest in it now, it's not just going to happen on its own. And so government's playing an active role in making sure that all Canadians in their regular life, as much as they may not think about any of this stuff, right? This is far removed from their daily reality as people are getting ready this morning and getting kids to school. But it's up to us to think on their behalf along with them and create those opportunities by putting the money where it really should be.
Yeah, awesome, thanks. So Genome Canada was created 25 years ago and actually launched under a previous Liberal government, Jean Chrétien, Paul Martin government, who really saw science as a way to sort of fuel the economy of the future. You know, my sense is that over the last 25 years, the political landscape has changed. The way politics happens and policy making happens has changed in Canada. And you may have heard that we're expecting a federal election in the next, number of months. There's obviously a leadership process underway with the Liberal Party. I wonder if you could comment a little bit. You know, we're a room full mostly of scientists here who aren't necessarily sort of marinating in that political world the way you are. You know, what sort of advice would you give to a room of scientists who are thinking about how to sort of talk to policymakers, how to engage with the kind of the political landscape, which can feel a little bit foreign sometimes when you're, sort of at the bench all day?
Yeah, that's a really important question, and I think it's a very big question. And I will start the answer by saying that I think we're living in interesting times in a sense that we're seeing a very a big shift in the narrative, the conversations that are taking place, and I think we just cannot ignore that. We remind ourselves as politicians. Pam and I knock on doors every single day, and we have all kinds of very different conversations with regular people, and you get a really good sense of what their mindset is. I often say this, and I really do believe this, that a lot of our thinking and psyche changed during the pandemic and beyond. It was an extraordinary moment in time we all lived through. It has had an impact on every single one of us. We need to accept that. We need to understand that. And because I think accepting that will allow us to think beyond that. And so a lot of the challenges that we're seeing in our society, not only right here in Canada, many people call it polarization, many people call it divisions. It's not only just happening in Canada, we're seeing it in the United States at even a bigger scale, but around the world, I think has some genesis in that. So whether that's an affordability crisis, the impact, people asking the question, how does this improve my life? How does this make things better for me? And it's really incumbent on us, not just the political class in this country, but the policymakers, those of you who advocate to policymakers to understand that aspect and be able to articulate what you're asking for, what you are aiming towards, as to how that is going to improve the lives of everyday Canadians. That's where I think the challenge lies as well. I think that's where a lot of time you're seeing a disconnect between the conversations that certain groups of people are having and the other. That's where I think you're seeing a lot of the silos on social media, where you feel like you're having multiple parallel conversations without any connection points, right? There used to be an understanding that there was always an agreed upon statement of facts that we worked on. We may have different interpretation to it, we may have different ways to address the challenges. Now, we live in a world, in my view, where you've got multiple statement of facts, and everybody thinks that their statement of facts is the actual factual statement of facts. There only can be one set of facts. And so I think for policymakers, and when you're engaging with them, regardless of their political stripe, regardless of what kind of things they have ran on, when you're talking about the importance of science, I think relating that to the needs of everyday Canadians is even more relevant, which I think is a challenge for us, and it pushes us to think in a way to articulate as to why all the work that you're doing is actually going to make our communities and societies a better place to live for everyone, and that there's a future for our children.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's very insightful. And in fact, we've done work, sort of kind of opinion polling and so on. And we've found that when you ask people how they feel about genomics in the abstract, there's a little reluctance, right? There's a little uncertainty. Like, it's high tech. I don't really understand it. But when you ask about the application for specific therapeutics, specific treatments, specific, applications in other areas, the support goes way up, way up. So it's less about sort of we get excited about the science, of course, the technology for its own sake. But what people want to see is really, how is that actually going to impact me, and how do I see the benefit for that? So I think that's...
Yeah, so I would say it should become less about the dollar amount and more about the impact, right? Cancer doesn't distinguish whether you've got money in your pocket or not. And if you ask Canadians, if you go around at a community party or a block party, and or your church or whatever your community may be, and you ask how many people have faced cancer or have someone who have faced cancer, most of the hands probably will go up. I think that's where you need to focus on, that this is the work we're doing so that your life gets better. And if we don't make that link, I think we do so at our own peril. If this is just about research, groundbreaking research, that may not mean much for someone, because, well, how does that impact me? But if that groundbreaking research could create the cure for a particular kind of cancer, or so much of the conversation around precision medicine and what that means, that's where I think people may engage and relate, because they just want a better quality of life. Yeah. And they want all of us who purport to be trying to do that actually deliver on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. One last question. It's more of a comment. No, it is a question. I think obviously the news right now is being dominated by our neighbors to the south, where things have kind of gone bonkers, and the ways in which that's impacting, of course, the science community as part of the larger narrative around how it's impacting Canada. And I think genomics has always been and continues to be an international science. We have collaborations, of course, in the United States and globally. And sharing of data, for instance, is an important element of trying to solve big, thorny challenges. One of the concerns that we start to have is that in cases where that data is perhaps either housed in the United States or supporting the United States, it may now be at risk. And the ways in which we thought about international collaboration are in some senses being rethought. How do we continue to sort of make sure that we leverage the benefits of our international partnerships without necessarily putting things at risk? And so we are thinking more and more about issues around, for instance, data sovereignty, about kind of reshoring of supply chains and building capacity in our system to be able to strengthen Canadian processes and productivity, and so on. I wonder if you could just comment a little bit on how you, from the political side, see the challenge posed by the political turmoil south of the border, and what we might see here in Canada in terms of maybe a Team Canada approach in response.
So I think a couple of points. One, as I said, we're living through an extraordinary moment in time, and this is not to suggest that as humans, we haven't lived in extraordinary moments. We have, and we've always figured out a way to work through it. So this too shall pass. But we've got to be thoughtful about it. We've got to be vigilant about it. I think we're living in a bit of an era right now where there's, whether you call it populism, where there's this notion around let's break down the existing systems because those systems have not worked for us. We don't know what that alternative looks like, by the way, but that's what we're seeing, and we're seeing that in the United States now, I think, at a bit of a turbocharge. Which has an impact on us, as we've been facing for the last 2 weeks. Every single day, that has an impact on us. And Canada will always remain north of the United States. Geography is not about to change. And so we, of all the countries in the world, I think has more at stake, in my view, than anyone else because of our proximity. And we have been close friends. We have been close relatives. I'll ask the question in this room. Raise your hand if you have a friend or a relative who's an American. There's not a single Canadian who does not raise his hand. This is how closely we're tied. So we'll always love them. We are very much part of each other, but we have to also navigate through this moment in time in a way that it protects us as well. And of course, a lot of the question is around our political sovereignty, our economic sovereignty. But I think the question, Rob, that you're asking is very much linked around data sovereignty and those relationships that you have built, the work that you do on a regular basis every single day. So yes, it's a challenge, but I think it's an opportunity for Canada. I think Canada could be that beachhead. Canada could be that a safe place for the talent to look, to see perhaps this is where I want to establish my lab or do the research that is important. Perhaps companies looking at that, Canada is a more stable country politically and economically, and this is where we want to make our investment and do our commercialization. Young students looking at place from different parts of the world. We were earlier talking about people having individuals, young scientists in their labs that come from all parts of the world, Afghanistan, Iran, and Brazil. Attracting those people instead of looking at a US lab in Boston or somewhere else to perhaps look at Montreal or Vancouver or Ottawa or Toronto to come. So I think we need to really set ourselves up and be, I will use the word aggressive in exploring and hunting those opportunities. I think what we just announced today in terms of having that strategy sets us up for that, because it's not like we are thinking this after the fact. We've been thinking about this. Now we've got a strategy, we've got partnerships, we've got money to do that happen so that we can create turn this challenge into an opportunity for us and make sure that Canada is there to provide a place for genomics to grow and do the important work and strengthen those relationships that you have with the rest of the world.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of the entire Canadian genomics community, I want to thank you and the government for your support, for the investment you've made. It's a very good start on the work that we need to get doing.
He's setting up for the next meeting already.
But it really does, it will go a long way to helping us address some of these challenges and really continue to build that strong Canadian sovereign approach to genomic science. So thank you very much to you and to Pam for being here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Please join me in thanking you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.